Matt channel, welcome. Right, today I am giving this self-pickling Flux another chance because I did a video on it recently, a couple of months ago maybe. I think I may have misunderstood it. What the self-pickling Flux, I saw it in a catalogue and I was like, oh, what's that? So I bought that. I probably made a mistake. I thought self-pickling referred to its ability, is just something I made up in mind. It's what it does is after you've done your solder, it doesn't leave any fluxy residue, because you know flux can turn to sort of glass, sort of a glass sort of crispy shell over your metal, and it needs to soak in the acid to get rid of that. I thought it was just going to do that automatically, self-pickling, but I misunderstood. I got a comment on that video, says from Mr. Malcolm Thompson, it says, I think self-pickling refers to the flux's ability to work on oxidized metal by cleaning it at the same time as being soldered. So yeah, the self-pickling is, it cleans, like you can start to solder on something that's a bit dirty that would normally need to be put in the acid first or cut through again, so you've got fresh clean metal. You might be able to shortcut that by just using this flux on a little bit dirty metal. So let's try it again. Let's get into the video. After I said thank you to some new patrons, we got Barine Ingram, Lars Johansson, Leo F, PH, and a new one today, Simon B. Thank you very much, guys, for becoming patrons. Helps you out, helps me out. But I want to give some benefits to you as well. So if you become a patron, it's not just you sending me money and then I sit here like thanks. I do stuff for you as well. You get to see the new YouTube videos 2 weeks before they go live on YouTube. You get access to all the full instructional guides. I'm actually expanding the amount of videos that are exclusive to patrons, so there's going to be more, not just the full instructional guides, there's going to be extra stuff as well, only for patrons. And if you become an official patron, like the top tier, you get exclusive content, regular exclusive content, and ability to message me and I'll help you out personally with your own jewellery making endeavours. So yeah, some benefits for you as well. And but yeah, I really appreciate all the patrons, like people sending me a bit of money here and there. Really genuinely does make a difference to my abilities to share what I've learned as a jeweller over the previous 25 years almost. Cool, let's get into this. Don't you just love listening to YouTubers talking about all the different ways you can send them money? So anyway, this ring was like one of my full instructional guides, one of the very first ones I did. So I just found this in my box. I cut through it. I already tested out that flux. I cut through it and then I heated it up with no reason, just to make it go all black inside that. So that join is too dirty normally for soldering. So let me just close it up and then we'll try another solder with this self-pickling flux. So I just heated it up again to make sure it's really properly like black and oxidized inside that join. So it's not ideal for soldering. So it's a good test. It's quite a heavy shank. If this is really meant to be self-pickling, that flux, that solder should have no difficulty flooding right through. I think normally that solder would flood into it but not really go through it nicely, being like that. So if this flux does something extra compared to normal flux, we'll find out today. So I'm not really wanting to go in there. I do feel it's done a better job than what would have normally happened, but it hasn't flooded through particularly nicely. Sorry, I think my camera is just going to not focus. That's crap. it's not flooding through at all. Look, there's my solder I was just trying. It sort of flooded in there. Like I was watching it from the top. It flooded in okay, and I feel like it did a bit better than what would have normally happened. But when I turned it around to check if it needs pulling through, yeah, it did, totally. And when I was trying to pull it through, it just wouldn't flood this way. So, yeah, I stick with my original verdict on this flux. It's crap. If that was truly self-pickling, like some sort of weird flux acid mix, that would have been clean. I put loads of it on. It just doesn't work. I'm going to give it one more chance. I'm going to flux it up again and see if I can get that solder to flood. Oh yeah, it's flammable. Forgot about that. Catches fire on the ring. So that's well fluxy now. Makes my torch flame go green. That's quite fun. I mean, the metal's starting to go. This is only medium solder. It hasn't pulled through. Sort of working, not really. Just looking at it closely, it sort of worked, but it took 2 attempts and a load of extra flux. It definitely did a better job than with just normal flux, but still not good enough. Look, it hasn't gone to this corner, and the amount of solder I put on that, if that join was clean and I was just using normal flux, I would have had no difficulty. It would have like flooded down a little bit, and I'd turn it round, and I just pulled it all the way through from the other side. This hasn't worked. Even 2 attempts, heated it up to the point of the surface of the metal, going a bit sweaty looking. Yeah, it hasn't really worked. It's like to do a proper solder, yeah, you need a tight join, it needs to be freshly pickled, like not oxidized at all, and just clean together, nice clean flux, and you should have no difficulty really doing a solder. This stuff, it's like they invented a product. It's like, you can bypass having to clean your join by using this stuff. But the thing is, it doesn't really work. And it took me 2 attempts. I had to add loads of it on. It kept setting fire to my brush, so I've damaged the bristles on my brush. And even after all that, and then heating it up and taking extra care, putting loads on, the amount of solder I put on, that should have soldered quite easily and quite quickly. It hasn't really worked. We saw it when I just magnified it. Still didn't even do the job properly. So if I was actually doing the job here, I'd have to cut that through and just clean it as normal and then do it again with normal solder. I can't really see the point of this stuff. It doesn't do what it's meant to do. So I took it back off the shelf. I gave it another chance. It's disappointed me again, so I'm sorry. Self-pickling Flux, you are officially cancelled.